Hello viewers, I'm Khalil Ahmed. Energy sector has been in the limelight in Pakistan and particularly recently captive power plants and no provision of gas to captive power plants. So energy issues have become quite an issue in Pakistan. To discuss all these, I am joined by one of the leading experts of Pakistan, Mr. Kalim Siddiqui, the former managing director of Pakistan State Oil. Welcome to the show.
बहुत शुक्रिया.
Kalim Saab, Pakistan's energy sector has been in the limelight for several reasons, and one of the reasons recently is the disconnections or no provision of gas to the captive power plants. Captive power plants, there's plenty of investment in that, and there are so many industries which depend 60%, 80%, even 100% on captive power plants, and they cannot move to the grid, the national grid. So what's the way out for that?
I think this is a very important and crucial question you have asked, Khalil bhai. Energy sector and particularly the captive power and the gas situation in Pakistan is quite alarming, I would say, because continuously our local production has been depleting for years now, and we have not been very successful in developing new gas fields which can give us some production. As such, we have been relying mostly on the imported LNG, and we regasified it and call it regasified LNG, and they are at least 3 to 4 times more expensive than the local pricing. So that has been an issue, but we have some long-term agreement and we are importing, I think, on an average 10 cargoes every month, and sometimes even that is not enough for our requirements, so we do some spot buying. Like this month, I think in December they are doing 2 cargoes spot buying, so that we can meet.
Spot buying is cheaper, or at times it is?
Normally it is again 2 to 3 times more expensive, sometimes even more.
My goodness.
Just to give you a feel, the contract we have about $10.5 to $10.6 per MMBTU we are getting because of that contract. And in spot this month it's about $40 MMBTU. So just you can see it's about 4 times more expensive. So it is always good.
So who will bear the brunt of all this? The domestic and industry?
Eventually it ends up to the customer.
That's
the customer has to pay for that.
That's right.
And so everybody tries to avoid the RLNG, imported gas. So they try to get it from the local sources, but again we have limitations, and especially our fields are old, so they have problem in winter timings. The pressure gets low, very low, so they cannot take the gas out, and that's why you see all these load sheddings and all that for the gas. And likewise, not enough gas is available to provide for power generation. From local sources, if they produce the oil, roughly it costs about $16 rupees per unit, but if it is RLNG, then it goes to probably 35 to 40 rupees per unit, so it is exorbitant. But they average it out for the whole country and all that, and that's how the government fixes the price. But this is a situation that needs a long-term strategy, so that we can fix the situation, because we just cannot survive like that.
That's
and
right.
Because of our economic pressures and economic condition, we cannot afford all this import bill for energy. So we have to develop local resources, and the good part is Pakistan have a lot of reserve, but because of the political instability and because of the non-continuity of policies on the investment side, on the foreign companies, not many companies are coming in Pakistan.
Generally, it is perceived that the policy makers are not really capable. Policy makers get the dictation from the donor agencies, and recently it is being also accused that IMF's conditionalities are there, so the policymakers do what IMF is telling them. So if the policymakers are not really that capable, in the market we have the people with decades of experience, people like you who have decades of experience, who are experts in the field. Why the government does not look at the individuals like you who could really fix the problems, who have the solutions for everything?
I think again it's a very good question and pinching question, as well, because yeah, we don't have some well thought of and fully evaluated policies. They do not engage the experts of the field, so that they can come up and advise and give the strategy and guidance. What they do, they just do run of the mill type of thing. They just produce whatever they have been doing, a strategy, and that is not working, obviously not working. So I think it really requires that they should engage some good experts in every field, in energy sector, in oil and gas sector, yeah, and they get the help from them, prepare a long-term policy and strategy how to attract foreign companies to come and do exploration and to do some investments in the country, because if they don't do that, with the passage of time this will even be becoming harder for us to manage it. I think in probably 2030 or so, in next 5 to 6 years, our import bill is likely to be over $30 billion per year.
My goodness, the population growth.
And the population is growing, consumption is growing. It's a big country, it's a big consumption. So if we don't have a good strategy and good management, I think we'll be in serious trouble. We are already in trouble.
That's right.
I'm using the word in serious trouble.
So as we are talking about the growing population, the burgeoning population,
Yeah.
2.6% is the growth rate, the population growth rate, and import bill of energy on average it is 15 billion, 16 billion US dollars, and as you rightly mentioned that in the days to come it will be $30 billion. So how would we already have the twin deficits which we are facing. So how are we going to fix our house?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, that we need to have some long-term strategy. Short-term ad hoc policies are not going to work for us. As you said, we are growing at the rate of 2.5 to 2.6% per annum. And I think in probably 10 years time, we will be number 3 or number 4 populated country in the world, exceeding USA population,
Yes.
So in that situation, until and unless you develop the opportunities for the population, you properly educate your people, and you can give them some skills, those who are not highly educated. If we don't do that, then this bulging population will really create lots and lots of problem. We are already in problem, and it does not look that we are sorting it out or we are resolving it. In fact, it's accumulating.
So since we are talking about burgeoning population, and again we are talking about 250 million people, 250 million, of course in the days to come, as you rightly mentioned also about the US population, which at the moment is 366 million. So Pakistan will have more population than US. So if for instance it is 400 million, just for a minute, if it is 400 million, and if at this particular juncture our energy import bill is 15 billion US dollars, so for 400 million people, roughly speaking, it would be around 40 to 45 billion US dollars every year.
Yes, actually this bill has come down to 15 to 16 billion dollars. It was about 25 to 30 billion dollar already 3 years back, but because of the increasing prices, because of the inflation, because of the many economic factors, the consumption has gone down, and that is why our import bill has gone down to 15 to 16 billion dollar. But it's going to go up because the population is increasing and economy is gradually getting better. If you like, I can talk something about economy as well. In Pakistan, I think this year again, last year was worse. This year, I would not say that we are better, but we are improving. We are improving. And again, this year, as per our national budget, we are about $18 billion in deficit. If we take into account all our import revenues and all our export revenues, and then all the foreign exchange remittance we will get, if you take into account all that, I think we are still short of $18 billion. And little while ago you mentioned about we get dictation and we follow those things. It's not a good saying, but I am using it. Beggars are not the choosers.
Beggars can be
So
choosers.
unfortunately, our planners and our political side of the parties, and governments, they have not come up with the long-term plan how to fix the economy. They did not agree on one agenda, on economic agenda, because that affects every political party and anybody who comes into the power. So they should sit down together, and choke out a strategy that, okay, nobody will deviate from this, this way they can go ahead and improve. I think they need to focus on 2 or 3 things. Number 1 is the agriculture, and number 2 is the exports, and the energy sector. Energy sector and agriculture, these are the 2 backbones of our economy. If we can resolve issues of these 2 sectors, make them more productive and more technology oriented, then we are likely to earn some good revenues. And on the same time, we have to focus on exports. Export is estimated to be about $32 billion this year. That is not much. A country of our size with 32 billion of export is a peanut, I would say. I think we need to really focus on that. And I think with a lot of manufacturing sector, the IT side can really help us, because we have lots of youngsters in Pakistan. We are a young country. About 65 to 70% people are under the age of 25 to 30, So this is the very young population. If we have good policies, if we provide them the opportunity, this country can progress like anything, And this is where I at times feel very sad and disappointed that we are not capitalizing or capturing the opportunities that are lying, in front of us.
Where do you see Pakistan, say, looking at the given scenario, say 5 years down the line, in terms of energy self-sufficiency?
To be frank and honest with you, because of the current political and economic situation and not too much investment in this sector, I am not quite hopeful, and I am a bit concerned that situation can get worse. It may really create a lot of problem for the nation, and I think we have to really go back to our domestic production for petroleum products, especially when a country has so much of potential, so much of reserves.
That's right.
And unfortunately, we are not able to exploit it. So I think that is extremely important. If we don't do that, the problem will keep compounding, and it will become, a stage will come that it will become unmanageable.
That's right.
And I think this is the time. It's already late, but still I think if we can act now, we can improve things.
Let's hope for the best. Anyways, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Well, viewers, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching.